connected to that. But by the end of the topic, I was aware that you cannot separate human rights from climate and environmental conservation. My fellow panelist has given almost all the details, but most of you were eating food, and I will not fail to repeat some of the things you just said. First, we are looking at the right. Do you all know that you have a right to a healthy environment, and that right is a fundamental human right? Do you know that? Are we aware that we have a fundamental human right to clean air, to clean water, and to a safe environment? If we don't know that, then we should begin from a different topic. Not human rights. We have to first teach you that human rights and a right to a clean environment is your fundamental human right. As much as it is our duty to speak to you about this right, if you know that you have that right, then it is important that you recognize that you have a right to a healthy environment, and it is a fundamental human right, and that it must be equally distributed to all people and in all communities, regardless of where they live and where they come from. Whether they are the ones from marginalized communities and those from disproportionately affected, disproportionately distributed communities, it is important for us to know that we are all human and we deserve these rights. So if we know that we have a right to clean air and clean water, and that we are entitled to healthy living conditions, it is important for us to see how to secure this environment. The environment we live in is protected by us. We are humans, we live on this planet Earth, and it is our duty to make sure that we live in a better place than we found it for the generations to come. Is that something we all believe in? If we believe that we have to leave this earth a better place than we found it, then it is important for us to contribute towards preserving it. We have issues that we are facing as human nature, and we will notice that it is us, it is evident that we are the ones spoiling everything for ourselves. We are the cause of climate change. We are the reason we have impact on climate change. We are the reason why our earth is getting spoiled, and we are the reason why we will extinct ourselves. So this call and having such an engagement just reminds us that we must act as soon as we can. My fellow panelists gave us the statistics of how much heat wave we shouldn't hit, and how we have bypassed it already, and how it is unsafe for us to be living the way we are living. But humans are like that worm that is in a maize cone. I don't know if all of us have heard of that story of the maize cone and the worm. Do we know that story of the maize cone that we are all too young? Okay, there is this story of, I don't know how they call it in Uganda, but there is a worm that is found in maize corn. So you know the story. What do you want me to make? What do you want to make me say it again? Who of us knows the story? Okay. Are you willing to tell us the story? Thank you. Please share my microphone and explain that story briefly and as quickly as you can for those who have not heard about the story. I am telling us this story because I want us to know what is happening to us currently and where we are heading to if we do not pay attention to the changes that we are making in our environment.
Thank you. I'm Charles Lunacharo. New Year is the one that grows as the maize also grows. From the start, it is normally, it was reminded that leave that core. It didn't leave them. It remained there, grew the maize core. And at the time of cooking, they cooked the maize and they are jacked in the pot. And that is the story that he used. When we are in the story, that will not one to Thank you.
I wouldn't have had a better storyteller. Thank you very much, sir. Currently, we are experiencing rising in global temperatures, rise in sea levels. We are seeing ocean acidification, extreme weather events. And to talk about the extreme weather events, I saw one of the press ladies wearing a very high, admirable hood. She's really smart. I think she's not gone outside. And I was reminded that it is January. But then I told myself, how many times has it rained this January? This month has been a rainy month. Yet, historically, January was always a dry month. Always. So if people are walking around in boots, it scares me because it is actually raining. Does that wake us up to realize that there is a problem? Things are not the way they used to be. If it is raining more than 15 times before the end of the month of January, what will happen? Water rose in Lake Victoria, I think 2 years ago, and it has not gone back. The levels are still so high. How much more do we need to be told that we have a problem and climate change is our problem? Recently, I had a visitor and I sent him out with my son to go and see the source of the Nile. So when they reached Madira, my son said, this is Madira Forest. And he said, impressive. And then my son added, it is just the front part that has trees, but behind there, it has been encroached on, and he said, sad. So when my son came back, he said, but why are we cutting down all our trees? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. I think we have a problem of a very poor community which is encroaching on land to cultivate food. Then I went on to Google about deforestation. And I realized that we have lost over 60% of our forests. The forest cover in Uganda, 60% is gone, and this is research made in 2019. And 60% is calculated from the last 30 years. But as of now, counting from 30 years ago, we have lost 60% of our forest cover. And they said the cause is that poor man with an axe clearing land for farming. I was in Kwen district to do our charity work. We found a community that had been displaced by forestry, and they were not given a place to live. They just told them, leave this place, we are planting this forest again. Because there was a forest below. There was a forest before. And my question is, how do people encroach on the forest? And we have big administrations and big people in big offices designated just to make sure that we preserve these forests. So our duty as leaders is to make sure that we keep safe our environment and that we provide the required needs to prevent deforestation from happening. I am going to talk about the way forward. Most of the things I'm skipping because my colleague talked about them. The way forward is one. The way forward is making sure that the person living in Bwaise does not feel unsafe when they see a dark cloud in the sky. Our duty as leaders is to make sure that the saying that water is life unless you live in Bwaise does not stay. That community is a community which has equal rights as other Ugandans. And living in those places should not be a curse. To protect our environment, I think in the first place we should be able to allocate these people in better places to live. And we should be able to engage citizens. Let them participate in decision making about climate change issues such as the development of climate change policies and plans. Now, this goes to the leaders. Engaging citizens is not supposed to be very complicated. You do not live in a community alone. Being a community leader or a national leader does not make you the king of the area. It makes you just part of the community, and you cannot make decisions on climate change that affect the bigger majority without consulting them. This takes me to what has been a serious topic. Recently, we've been talking about the oil pipeline from Hoima to Tanzania. I see most of us here have been participating in the campaigns that have been against this pipeline. I do not know if all of us understand the main points of why people say the pipeline is not ready to go, that we still have a lot to sort out before it kicks off. Yet I know, yes, about 3-4 days ago it was launched, and then the first day of drilling happened. But it is important that our leaders let the people who are going to be directly affected by these changes make decisions. I am reading an article from www.lifegate.com, and it was published 11th January 2023. That is very recent. And it is entitled, Uganda to proceed with oil pipeline deal despite backlash from activists. It is short, I'll pick out some things. The world's longest heated oil pipeline in Uganda negates global climate action while directly subjecting millions of livelihoods to disruption and food insecurity. So, if you disrupt livelihoods and you are causing threat to food security, of course, you are destroying the environment, and so we are going to have lives lost. It goes on to say that East African crude oil pipe is that long from Kyagulanyi, Hoima to Tanga, Tanzania. I won't go further, that is too much. But then I want to show us that the duty of the leaders in issues that affect climate change and environment conservation. Our president said back off from our oil. It is a reminder, because most of us had him say this. He said, the article says, meanwhile, the Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has lambasted environmental rights groups for decrying the construction of East African crude oil pipelines, saying some of these people are insufferable. You need to control yourself not to explode. They are so shallow, so egocentric, and so wrong, but they think they know everything. This is our oil, and they should keep quiet. The West should keep calm, because this is the wrong battleground for them. We don't talk kindly to arrogance. So, the problem that is actually looming with this oil pipeline has been described as follows: the looming disaster. Same article. This project will rip some of the world's most ecological diverse regions. The pipeline will pass through Marshall Falls. How many of us have gone to Marshall Falls? The pipeline will pass through Marshall Falls, home to a number of iconic and endangered species, such as the African elephant, buffaloes, giraffes, and the red Columbus monkey. And worse, the pipeline will also go through Bugoma Forest. Bugoma is almost non-existent. And Lake Victoria Basin, which over 40 million people from Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya rely on. An oil spill would prove disastrous to the millions of people that depend on the lake for water and food. And this was said by Charity Mwikwi, regional campaigner, in an interview. This takes me back to our topic. I'm here talking about the role of leaders. I haven't yet talked about the role of citizens. The role of leaders is to first engage the people who are going to be directly affected by these climate and environmental changes if they are inevitable, not to just say that they are arrogant and egocentric. As citizens, what do we do? I am glad that Honorable Wada hosted us here and chose a very outstanding group in the audience, and our audience is comprised of leaders, of the media, and of scholars who I know have an impact on their fellow students. It is our duty as citizens to put on the forefront climate change and environment conservation and make it part of our lives. We know that we represent a big number of people, so it should be one of our most important duties to spread the gospel of environment conservation, especially right now. I'm speaking to the university leaders, and so we have guild presidents here, and we know that your impact is huge. You reach a big audience, and we would request that you think through having climate change and environmental conservation as one of the main focus points. Thank you very much. I will end here, and I want to thank you specifically, Wanda, for inviting me and for giving me this platform and for allowing us learn from this symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Her Excellency, the First Lady and Executive Director, Caring Arts, an NGO, which is passionate with human rights, climate change, and environment conservation, among others. Thank you, the audience, thank you, members of the Model State, and I also thank myself. Now, we are going to the section of your responses. When you heard that the first state graduated in human rights and also covered the environment among others, I think we are now beneficiaries of the vast knowledge and experience. And needless to say that the aspect of environment conservation and climate conservation was partly a bold position where countries of the world, including the European Union and the European Parliament, stood with the people of Uganda, advancing the values of environment and climate conservation among the reasons they use in their position and in the position they took on the oil pipeline. If the world can stand with us as people based on environment and climate conservation, who are we, the leaders? Who are we, the people? Who are we, the academicians? Who are we, the leaders? Who are we, the Ugandans, who abandon the world alone in defending us, so we can join them in defending us and in defending the world, especially to do with environment and climate conservation, among the key pillars of humanitarian and human rights protection. The ball is now back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, for a quick round of questions and observations, and the microphone is here. Just spot on that, we start from the front, we go back. One side, then the other side. So just yourself and the question.
Thank you so much. I am Bill Clinton Assessor. I'm the Guild President of Barara University of Science and Technology. At the same time, aspiring for UNSA President, Uganda National Students Association. Mine is an advice, and as students, we are looking forward to making partnership with such NGOs. Even yesterday, in my own presentation at UBC, I was trying to show students that at the end, it is us that suffer. In a road traffic accident, the person dies is either your parent, your guardian, or your fellow student. In climate change, when we are suffering, it is either a student, a parent, or a guardian. So as students, we want to look forward to planting of trees. Starting with this year, how we get in partnership with NGOs that can lobby for us trees, and we advocate the planting of trees across secondary schools and universities. Number two, move alongside the airing out of views. For example, telling the general public that actually we need to observe human rights. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm a legal scholar at Makerere University. Whereas we agree that Uganda and Africa are the most affected countries, but the least contributors to climate change, I would like to pose a question to Mr. George. As NEMA, we ought to understand that we have the economic aspect as a developing country, but also secondly, we have the environmental question. So how are we striking a balance, even with the NDCs we're having in place, even with the Paris Agreement failing, reaching the 1.5 degrees Celsius as a developing country? How do we achieve the net zero without necessarily having equal, but even when we have equal, how do you get us to things like the decommissioning? After extracting this oil, then what next? And the issue of accountability to the citizens, since this is a question of citizenship. How are we sure that we're going to have that 15% of being equal? And how much granting do we have that 15% is going to work for the citizens and not the people in the system? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Paul, a student of the law at Makerere University. So my question directly goes to Mr. George. The question would be is that we are hearing the starting of the pipeline, the proceeding of that. What are you as NEMA doing to ensure that this government ensures that the impacts of this are less to the environment? Because by the time the EU says something, we cannot say that it's a baseless argument. They have ground for this because they have argument with the political spaces, and it's a baseless argument. But I believe the argument has hold some water. And so my question would be, what are you as NEMA, as the body that is mandated to ensure environmental protection, doing to ensure that the government is in line with the various procedures that have to be taken so as to ensure protection of our environment?
You didn't take those academicians. We shall come back.
Thank you very much. I'm Joma Aaron Daniel, a councillor representing Kasanga today, towards the district council. Now, Mr. Muganza, I have a brief question to you. You people, you are looking when Lake Victoria is being filled with maram and stones. And when you meet us, you convince us that you are fighting against the spoilers. Bangaroos are developing in wetlands. And the excuse you give is that those people have already got environment, they've passed through environmental impact assessment. So this has become an excuse. We are about to see Lake Victoria being erased just because of that excuse. My question, how will you fight against the spoilers when there is that excuse of environmental impact assessment? Because whenever I ask those people, or whenever I approach you, that's the excuse you give, that these people have passed through environmental impact assessment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Juliet Nandiza, and I'm a district woman representative for Masangat at Wakiso district. My question goes directly to Muganga Church. We are seeing that when people are encroaching wetlands and the ecosystem is being affected, why is it that these wetlands are being degraded in Kampala Metropolitan and destroyed when NEMA and other government agencies are there watching? That's my question. Thank you so much.
This second.
Thank you so much for the time. Duran Gaba, student of Kyagulanyi University. It's a serious course, and Mr. Muganga and the question. On the 3rd of December 2020, NEMA released an environment and social impact assessment certificate to the ECO project. And in this assessment certificate, they were to evaluate social, health, human rights, and environmental impacts. Currently, and how that people are being displaced from different regions of that Koima region. Is NEMA having a plan to release another report concerning the human rights violations in the same report, the environmental violations in the same report, or why you are just acting hypocritically?
Thank you so much. I'm a local leader, LOC2, and the question goes to the NEMA personnel. It's directly concerns with our local leaders as how we are to be of the help with the organization. I'm looking at a scenario where I'm the local leader and Mavira Forest is my area of jurisdiction. And I'm now looking at the forest conservation. How can the local leader be of the help as far as environmental protection is concerned?
Thank you so much. My name is Chimi Gembara, Councillor from Masangat Town Council and a teacher trainee from Makerere University. Thank you, Mama and Mr. George. Here is a scenario. We are having a site being constructed in the wetlands, and this site is being protected by SFC. Now, what do you expect the local leader, like a honorable councillor or the else one chair, and the citizens to do? The site is being protected by SFC, being constructed in the wetland. Thank you.
This also consider the site at the back.
Hello, my name is Frank Senamulia from DJTV. My concern is about the NGOs and other officials of the environment, that we've not seen a lot of these, as you support the media. I wish that we could have more of these programs on the media so that we can sensitize the masses down there to continually support what you're up to. So I'm just praying that across all media, apart from the mainstream media, there are those big media houses that you support, particularly these other media houses that you think probably are not being watched. So we also need a lot of your support so that we can sensitize the masses about the environment.
Congratulations, Honorable Madam. Serena is my name. First and foremost, I want to thank the President for being present here. And I want to add her to the Pan-Africans like Stephen Biko Bantu, who has said that the best treasure that humanity can have is consciousness. Therefore, I want to first raise a question to everyone here. I have heard every panelist assert so much about citizenship. I wonder whether even where you are seated there, you feel you're a citizen of Uganda. I want to let you know that as we speak now, it is an exercise that is going on